All right, just waiting for this to go live. I want to welcome you to the WP Crafter live show where we go over WordPress news. We see what's happening in WordPress over the last week, and we have some important stuff to cover in this video for sure. I want to invite you to also comment down below in the live feed. I'll answer questions and display your question live on the screen. Right now, if you are on live, if you wouldn't mind entering in something in the live chat box down below, just so I know that my stuff is working. That would help me out, and also if you can just verify that you hear the audio A-OK, and then we'll go ahead and jump on in and get started. So I'm just waiting for this. Oh, there we go. I am seeing some comments on one, and let me see if I get some comments on the other here. All right, if you have any questions that you would like to talk through, you can ask them as well, and I'll be doing that. Let's see here. Okay, so I'm not getting some of my comments. Let's see. Okay, I'm just trying to fix something here. And let's see. If I can't get the comments on the screen, it's not the end of the world. Let me check this here. Oh, well. Okay. Well, I'll just have to read your comments instead of show your comments. That's okay. All right. So let's get into it here. There is some security things that you're going to want to be aware of. And this plugin right here, I'm actually not a fan of this plugin, although it's super duper huge. Has a security vulnerability, and they patched it. Okay, so that's all right that they patched it, but they didn't disclose that there was a vulnerability, and they didn't disclose that they patched it. So the plugin that I'm talking about, a lot of people have. In fact, it's actively on over 2 million websites right now, which is pretty scary. So it's all-in-one migration. This is a tool that is a free tool to migrate your website from one host to another host, and it's very popular with 2 million active installations. You might not know this, but when you go and you look at a plugin on the WordPress repository, you have access to view the changelog. This is what's changed between updates. And you also have access to see what version numbers people are actually using. So the reason I said this is scary, if I go here where it says advanced view, click on that. We scroll down, here's a little chart that shows you how many people out of the 2 million, how many websites out of the 2 million are actually on this version that has a problem. And that's what's scary. So this little green right here, these are the only people that are safe from the security vulnerability. So the orange, the red, and the blue, these people are in a really bad spot. These are the that's about 2 million people or 2 million websites that are not actively updating their plugins, and they now have this security vulnerability, and there's no way to contact them about it. This is why it's important to keep tabs on keeping your plugins and themes installed. Also, don't have things activated that don't need to be activated. And this is a plugin that doesn't usually need to be activated, but people leave it activated anyway. Now, here's the problem. It's not a problem that a plugin has a security vulnerability. That's normal. This can happen. That's why WordPress is actually a secure platform. It's because researchers can find these issues and notify the software vendors before a hacker can discover it, as opposed to a closed system like Wix or something like that, where security vulnerabilities happen there too, but there's no one able to test it and discover them because they're closed systems. And if they do patch something, you're never going to know about it anyway. Anyways, we have this, and you can click right here where it says development, and you scroll down, it shows you the changelog. So the vulnerability is right here in version 6.97 and below, but you can see they fixed it in version 7, but nowhere here does it say there's a security vulnerability that we patched. That is the problem. And actually, I'm not really a fan of this developer because they do really shady stuff in my opinion. So this plugin, for example, has a limitation on how big the site can be that you migrate. And if your site falls outside of that limitation, you get prompted to buy it. There's nothing wrong with that. What I think is wrong is they don't disclose it anywhere. So you're making your backup, you're installing it on the new site, you upload your backup, and nowhere do you know that there's this limitation until the very last moment when you put all your work in, do you find out that you got to give them $70. So I'm not a fan of this company. I think that they do shady stuff like that. And they know what they're doing. They're doing it intentionally. There's nothing wrong with them having the limit, but not disclosing the limit anywhere and also using language that makes it seem like there is no limit is very shady and sneaky. And then you patch in this issue with the security thing and they're not disclosing it when it's obvious. You even have it written about right here on WP Tavern. I actually found out about it before this because one of the members in the WP Crafter Facebook group, which you should absolutely join, he posted about this days ago. So I found out about it days ago. And to WP Tavern's credit, they even make mention that the developer has not disclosed about this issue. So anyways, it's important if you're using this plugin, if you're one of the 2 million people using this plugin, that you go ahead and update it fast. This is all normal stuff. You just want to be on top of keeping certain plugins active and updated, but don't install stuff that you don't need. Also, don't install stuff from people that might be a little shady, like I'm disclosing about these guys, or that they don't really have a reputation. There's other plugins that have had security issues and they put it on their Twitter, they email their users, they put it all over just to be above board with it. There's no reason to be so sneaky and shady about it. So if you go to this article here, they say that on July 24th, how the concept of how you can take advantage of this hack, if you're a hacker, is going to be released. So that's when the info is going to be in hackers' hands that can go and start doing what they do best, which is hacking. Anyways, so that is all-in-one migration. The next really cool thing is SiteGround has a new control panel. Now, I think the control panel has been out for a few weeks, and I'm going to show you it really quick right here. So this is actually the login page to the new control panel, and then here is the new customer area for SiteGround. And when you click on websites, it should pull up. I'm going to show you it. So here it is. I'm going to click right here where it says Site Tools, and now it's pushing me into the new control panel. So this is going to be a lot sleeker, a lot cleaner, a lot more efficient, easier to find things than the old control panel, which is called cPanel. So I'm really excited about this. Whatever is going to make things easier to use, I'm all for, and I think this is fantastic. So here is a much easier, cleaner navigation to find what you want. Just even in the old control panel, which is called cPanel, to find email, you had to like scroll and look around. Just all these things made it complicated, but this is a lot less complicated, and they actually did a really good job with this. So a lot of these custom-built control panels, they're missing a file manager, but SiteGround made sure they added that. They realized that that's something that people really want as a file manager. That's one of the things that they would miss anyhow. It's super easy to find where to set up your email accounts. They have this called an app manager. So if I click on plus, right here I can choose the application I want to install. So WordPress, right? Or also there's an option for WordPress with WooCommerce, which is great. And then right here you would choose the domain name that you wanted to install this on. Right here you would choose a username and an email and a password, and that's it. It's installed for you. But I like how everything is condensed. So under security, we've got a tab here for your backups, for creating SSL certificates. You know, with SSL, when you add it to your site, you sometimes have to put in a plugin called Really Simple SSL. Well, you don't need to if you're using SiteGround. They have this new feature right here, HTTPS Enforce. It's better that this is done on the server level, and right here I can turn this on and I don't have to worry about that needing that plugin anymore. Protected URLs, blocked IPs, Site Scanner is their service. Now for speed, it's actually very cool. So you can obviously connect it to Cloudflare, which I've been meaning to make a tutorial forever. But if you click on caching, with SiteGround, if you go on the middle and higher plan, it's server-based caching, and they also include their caching plugin. So I made a performance video not that long ago, and I went through all these things. Well, in theory, you won't need all of those things. This would get most of your bases covered. So on static cache, this is server side, and it's nice right here's like some explanation about it. And then dynamic cache, you have to install their plugin, but it does caching for you. It does image optimization for you as well. I don't think it's quite as good as the dedicated image optimization tools, but it's probably good enough, and the price is right? It's included with your stuff here. And then memcache, you can turn this on. This is also going to improve the speed. And so memcache and static cache, these are server based, so it's not your plugin or using resources or anything like that, but the dynamic it is. I really like that. And for email accounts, you just click here, click on accounts. Now here's one of the things that's really cool about this control panel, guys, is that all the other hosting companies that have their own custom control panels like WP Engine, Cloudways, Kinsta, you name it, all those, they've got their really easy to use custom control panels. None of them include email hosting. None of them do. So SiteGround is really like the first quality hosting with a custom control panel that has email hosting as well. Which is really good. So it's super easy to come in here and create your email address. Just pop the front end of the email, a password, and you're set. And you've got forwarders, autoresponders, filters, and you can even control the spam blocking and stuff like that. The only scary thing, though, is they have these traffic logs for statistics. Now, SiteGround has metered hosting. So what that means is that each plan with them, you get a certain amount of unique visitors that they estimate you can have on your website in a month. And if you go over that, you might have to go up a plan. But it's now they're actually showing you this traffic. I wonder if they're going to be stricter on enforcing it, because the way they've been doing it currently is, say the middle plan is 25,000 unique visitors, but it really comes out to be like 60 to 75,000 the way that they measure it. So there's that gap there. I wonder if they're going to be a little bit more strict on it. But what's nice about what they're doing, out of all the hosts I've experienced, SiteGround's really been the only one I've seen really make deep investments. These hosting companies are making a lot of profit, but they're the ones actually making deep investments back into the infrastructure, and it's pretty impressive. Okay, let me click on WordPress and check this out. So here you can install and manage your installations. So if I wanted to install these, and then here's my installations, but check this out. Couple neat features. Staging. They've had staging on the top plan. They recently put it on the middle plan too, and this is how you would manage it. So here's my WordPress installation that I have, and then I can create a name for the staging, click on create, and it creates a full staging environment where I can test things. It's super easy, and then I can manage them, and I've got backups right here. They had this before. It's a migration tool, so if you're moving from another host, they make it easy to migrate to them. But here is a tie-in to what I just said about all-in-one migration. You have this auto update option that you can enable. So you go here to auto update, and you would choose the site, and it's going to give you kind of an idea of what's out of date on the site. It's keeping tabs on it. And then right here, you have control over what auto updates, how it auto updates, and all that kind of stuff. So right here, you can see for WordPress, when do you want to update to a major release? This would be going from 5 to 6 or something major like that. Well, actually, no, like 5.1 to 5.2, that's considered major. But if you, there's also those minor releases. So, right, by default, it's 24 hours. You can set it to 24 hours. You can set it to immediate, whatever you want. I've never really had an issue updating WordPress ever. And the minor release is immediate because that's usually security. So it'll do that for you. But check this out. You can also update plugins. You turn this on and it's going to update plugins for you. This would prevent, so if all the people that had this all-in-one migration were on this new control panel and had this on, they would be in a good spot. They wouldn't have this issue. The only risk with auto-updating is if someone that you have a plugin for releases a buggy update and it causes a problem. If you're not the one clicking update and then verifying that everything looks okay, you might run into some trouble. But that all ties back into using just stuff from reliable developers. So I do have a referral link for SiteGround, saves you 70%. It's WPCrafter.com/SiteGround. And I gotta say, I'm very impressed. I'm very impressed with this new control panel. I think it's going to make a lot of things simple. It's going to make a lot of things harder for tutorial makers like me that might have made a tutorial on the old control panel, because there's going to be that middle ground. If you're using SiteGround right now, you might be asking yourself, hey, are they going to migrate me? The sad answer is maybe, meaning it might take them 1 to 2 years to develop a transition process for it. I'm sure they will. It makes sense for them to, but it's maybe. Oh, and last thing, for people like me that really want a file manager, you just click on it and then here you are. Here's your site. You have full access to the files and you can edit them and everything. I wonder if this is custom done, because Cloudways has said the reason they don't have a file manager is because all the ones they've tried stink or have security issues. So this looks extremely snappy and very well built. And also on the MySQL side, if you wanted to see your database, I do that sometimes. We have PHP MyAdmin right here. Now there's a couple negatives with the SiteGround control panel. One of the benefits of using the industry standard cPanel, which I don't think is going to be industry standard in 5 years, is you can easily migrate your entire hosting account from one place to another place, right? You can export your cPanel, you can take it somewhere else, and you can import it there, a different host that's a cPanel based hosting. But when you have a custom control panel, you can't do that. It's easy to move individual WordPress sites. It's very hard to migrate email. You won't probably be able to do that. You'll have to download all your email, recreate the email addresses on the new host, stuff like that. So there's that issue, and that's probably also why they don't do unlimited migrations for you for free anymore. Now it's only one. The other big issue is with regards to SSL certificates. Okay, you get SSL certificates, right? Everyone gives them through this thing called Let's Encrypt. But the only thing is, and this is going to be a little on the techie side, you can't get a free SSL certificate unless all of your DNS is pointing to SiteGround and you're using them as your DNS server. So I know I got real technical there talking about DNS, and most users this isn't going to affect, but power users like me, I'm not going to have my DNS here. I prefer my DNS at Cloudflare, so I have full control over moving things around. So I don't know what the resolution is going to be with that. I'm going to reach out to support. Okay, lastly, this should be the only, when you sign up for SiteGround, at the end of the month or early next month is when the full cutover should be. All new accounts are going to go on this. Right now, some are and some aren't, so you might want to wait for that. Anyways, I think it's really cool. Oh, and there's something I didn't even talk about here because I haven't tested it. It's like multi-user or something like that. So I haven't figured it out yet, but I know there's a way that I can create another user, because all these sites are now in their own containers, another user, and they can log in and see a site, and there's permissions and stuff like that. You get something like that with Cloudways right now. So I'm going to figure out how that's done. I'll probably release a full tutorial on how to get the most out of this new control panel, if that's what you're using. Anyways, so that's the SiteGround control panel. It's pretty interesting to me. I think it's going to be a big plus for people that are setting up new websites, because it's a lot easier to use. Last news story, and then I'm going to get to any kind of questions that you guys might have. You might not be aware of it if you're using the Astra theme or you're trying to find a theme to use. They have version 2.0 coming out soon. Now, here's a post on their blog, and this was a little over a month ago, where they announced that it's coming and that there is a beta available for it. Now, if you are an Astra user, you can access the beta if you want. You can log in, as a matter of fact, and then here is the downloads for it right here. You'll see it's a Astra theme beta. It just hit release candidate 1, so you would use the theme beta and you'd use the plugin beta. Now, the main things that they're focused on is usability and speed. Now, it's not speed on someone visiting your site, because there's only so much more they can do about that. It's already extremely well optimized. But what they did is they made the customizer so fast. The big problem with Astra currently is when you click to go into the customizer to put your logo, your colors, and all that kind of stuff, the problem has been that it's slow. Like, it takes forever to initially load. It could take up to 30 seconds to initially load. And if you read my review on the Astra theme on my website, I even ding them for this. I take some of the stars off in my rating for them just because of that. So it'll be nice when this is out and I can give it back. But they didn't just make it faster, they made it more logical and easier with a lot less jumping around. The way the customizer is for all themes is you have to jump around here for the color, jump around here for the font type, jump around here for the spacing, and so you're constantly jumping all over the place, and it's frustrating because you're like, it's tedious is the best word for it. Okay, now I've got to go back 3 screens and then find the right thing, and if I find the wrong thing, I got to go back a screen, and then I'm just constantly digging around. There's no way anyone can memorize where everything is. Okay, so let's take a look at it. So I have it installed right here, and you're going to notice a couple things. So I've installed the free theme and the add-on package, and I just enabled everything in the add-on package that would enable, including WooCommerce, because I have WooCommerce on the site. So when you hover over appearance, you can see I actually like little details like this. So underneath Astra option, you kind of have this down right arrow for their custom layouts, page headers, and Astra starter sites, so you can kind of know these menu items are going with Astra. I really like how they visually did this. It's just a small thing in the details. Okay, so I'm going to click on customize, and you're going to see it's going to load a lot faster. In my testing, it's about 5 seconds it takes to load. Of course, this being a release candidate, it's not working for me at all right now. That's a fail. Here, let me go to the front end of the site and make sure the front end's working, and then go into the customizer from here. Hopefully it works. Let's see. Okay, so now it's all loading up. There it is. So it took about 5 or 6 seconds. Here it is. And so check this out. Here is my menu area right here. Actually, here, let me just go to where it says header, and let me click on primary menu. So here are your typical menu settings. But when you scroll down, but you're traditionally, if you want to start changing fonts and colors, now you got to go digging in the customizer to find those. But here you can scroll down and it pulls those in right here. So now they're pulling in sections from other parts of the customizer and putting them all where you would want to access them. So right here is colors, and I can change my colors right here. I can change my typography, and I can change my spacing. It's all right here. So every setting related to the menu area I now have in one spot. This, I think, is going to make it a lot easier to customize these finer details in your website. So that's just an example of it. Oh, and the new color picker is pretty nice. So right here for colors, if I click right there, here's my new color picker for normal, hover, active. Everything's just kind of consolidated. So it's a lot easier to find what you're looking for. So here I can choose my colors, my background colors, and then hover and active. And we have your responsive options right here. And then I wonder what happens if I click on more settings. Okay, it shows me more settings. So they really spent 6 months digging into the customizer and figuring out how they could change the experience of the customizer to make it less tedious for people and to make it so it's easier to get the most out of their theme. I think they did a pretty good job of it, if you ask me, and you have all of it just organized. So all these little sections are all organized right here. So this update to Astra isn't about adding new features. It's about really changing the usability. However, I can let you in on a couple of things. Hopefully, I've made complaints about a couple of things with the Astra theme, and I'll tell you what they are. It's funny, you might not know there's a problem with something until someone tells you there's a problem with something. You're just like, oh, I never really noticed that before. So one of the things that I've always not liked about Astra is here, actually, let me get out of this. This is actually one of the new starter sites. It's free. I had gone to them about a month and a half ago and I said, hey, you guys really need to have more free e-commerce starter sites, completely free ones. And I worked with them to get 2 released, and this is one of them. The focus was on simplicity, and I'm going to be using this in a tutorial very soon. Okay, back to what is coming in the future of Astra, things that I've complained about. Number one, I don't like some of the styling areas. So the styling of archive pages, I don't like that. I think there's a lot of improvements that they could make there. And also the styling and options for the way comments look on blog posts, they could modernize that and really improve that as well. And they're going to be working on that. And there's a couple other things that I've made suggestions on for the free theme to have more options for blog post styling so that you can get a little bit further than where you can get currently. So all these things, I've talked to them and they're going to work on. They just need to get this out the door first. But I'm excited about this. So that brings it to the end of the news. And let me see here. I might have some questions from you guys. And I'm going to go ahead and answer those, and then we'll wrap this up. I got a different mic stand. If you noticed in the last one, I had this like big arm coming out over here, and it was just kind of, you know, didn't look good. So I had this big arm thing going on here. Now I have this tabletop stand for my microphone. I set it up yesterday, and I'm testing it out. Bought it on Amazon Prime Day. So I'm going to go ahead and scroll through some of these questions and we will wrap this up. And I hope you enjoy a show like this just to keep people in the loop with what's going on. I know we all have busy lives and all of that. Let's see. All right. So an alternative, there's a couple alternatives to all-in-one migration. One of them is WP Vivid. It's one word. You can search it in the repository. I made a video on it. You can migrate backup, all that kind of stuff with it. Also Duplicator or Duplicator Pro. The only reason I don't like Duplicator is because to migrate your site, you have to access the file system, manually create a database, and do all this stuff. There's steps that I personally not interested in doing, and I think most people, it could just be made easier. And so the Pro version is easier, but a lot of the more technical folks in the crowd probably are going to prefer Duplicator and just do this kind of fresh migration. All right. I'm just scrolling through here to find some questions. All right, so someone mentions here as a question, there is a new SiteGround cPanel. What I showed you with SiteGround is not cPanel, so they are moving away from cPanel, and they don't have a problem with cPanel, it's just that it's limiting. They want to control the whole experience and also expand what they're able to do. So that example of that multi-user type of thing where you can create another user account, all that kind of stuff, you really can't get that in cPanel. So and then they would be building it for this control panel that they don't control. So now that they have their own control panel, they can further make that better and better. Also, cPanel, unfortunately, cPanel will lower the speed of the sites on the server. It's a resource hog on the actual server that it's on. So you traditionally, any server where your website's hosted that's not running cPanel, you just get a performance benefit. So, okay. Yes. Oh, and Joe saying, I like the Cloudways migration plugin. Yes. The same company makes the migration plugins for both of the companies. It's made by the Blog Vault people. They're the ones that made the migration plugins. And they also have a free migration plugin as well. Let's see. Okay. Here's an interesting question from Sean. What is the best tool for selective transfers, selecting pages and posts and media and plugins, just what you want to move across? And I actually don't have a good answer for that. I know there's a native WordPress exporting tool, but and you can just export posts or just export pages, but you don't get the finer details of exporting individual pieces of content. I do think that's pretty interesting. All right, Cloudflare tutorial. I do need to do that. And the reason I want to do a Cloudflare tutorial is for two reasons. One, it helped me with the security problem I was having where my website was getting attacked. They're called DDoS, distributed denial of service attacks, and it helped me. So I definitely need to do that. Ian's saying, how do I get the new control panel? Sadly, you can't if you're an existing customer. And it's a luck of the draw if you get it as a new customer, but next month, they said at the end of this month, so probably next month, every new customer is going to go on it. Let's see. Chad is saying, which caching should you use with a WordPress WooCommerce store? You can actually use any caching. The only thing is most caching plugins are going to sense if you're using WooCommerce and automatically change its settings for that. So you're going to be okay. Now, where there's a challenge is, for example, if you're using a plugin like CartFlows, shameless plug, that's the plugin that I came out with, CartFlows. It allows you to make custom checkout pages. But what happens is these caching plugins don't know that CartFlows is there creating custom checkout pages. So you need to have a caching solution where you can say, hey, this particular URL, do not cache it, whatever you do. And most of them have that. Let's see. Cincinnati in the house. All right. Okay. This is interesting from Michael. Have you ever tried Marketer's Delight WordPress theme? If that is the theme I'm thinking about, it might be like major outdated, a thesis theme, and it was a child theme for thesis. I could be wrong. I would have to look that up. Here's a question from Ruben wanting to know if I still use Malcare on my site and would I recommend it over iTheme security. I do have Malcare on my sites right now, and I am using it over iTheme security. However, it doesn't provide the level of security protection and the detail of options that you're going to get out of iTheme security. Unfortunately, you're not, and I'm not, but it doesn't have any performance impact either if you're using Malcare over iThemes. I noticed a little bit of, not that my site was like drastically slower, but it was a little slower. So with iTheme security, so I switched to Malcare. But see, I'm someone that does a lot of switching. I'm trying this, I'm trying that. So it's a tough question. I think iTheme security is going to keep you more secure. When I'm looking off to the side, I'm looking at the question. See here. Oh, yes. Oh, here's a great question from Eric, and I think you actually Facebook messaged this to me. Or it's regarding WP Fusion. WP Fusion is the most amazing WordPress plugin. I have my own CartFlows. I just think, and I should be saying that's the most amazing, and I do think it is, but I think really WP Fusion really, for anyone that markets on their website or uses it to market anything, and you want that kind of amazing power and control, personalization, all that kind of stuff on your website. WP Fusion's amazing, but he's asking if I've used it to display Elementor Pro pop-ups based on user tags. So one of the things WP Fusion does is it integrates with everything, and it all kind of has this integration. Then it feeds it into your CRM or your email automation platform, and you have your contacts and you can add tags, and everything on your website now can be controlled based on tags. Perfect example, Elementor Pro, you make a pop-up. Say you make a pop-up that is a 50% off sale on a particular product. Well, if you're using WP Fusion, you could say, and you have tags on your CRM of people that bought this particular product already, you can now configure with WP Fusion that pop-up to only show to people that haven't already bought the product. Because why would you want to show someone that paid full price that now they can get 50% off? So you can have this dynamic offers. It works really, really good, Eric. WP Fusion, if you do any kind of marketing or selling or anything on your website, it's not a cheap plugin, but it's an essential plugin. It really is the most special plugin I've ever seen. My mind spins whenever I use this plugin. I paid for it myself. I could have actually had them give me a copy. They actually gave me a review copy a year and a half ago, and I thought, man, this thing's so amazing, I'm going to buy it, and I bought the full license myself. He said, we would have given it to you, and I said, no, I want to buy this one. This is one I want to buy. I don't want to be the free customer. I want to buy this thing. Anyways, I need to do a deeper tutorial on that. And everyone that has WP Fusion knows it's the bee's knees. Okay. All right. Let's see. Yeah, there you go, Eric. Okay. Teddy's recommending Akeeba backup. I have seen it. I haven't tested it. It's Akeeba. Let's see. Here's Colin. Oh, I know you, Colin. I recognize the name, Colin, because I think you won in our contest not that long ago, and I've seen you around the Facebook group, and you're asking if Astra has any pre-made templates for a dating site, or what would I recommend if you wanted to build a dating site. I guess this ties back to what features you'd want in a dating site. I would think messaging, maybe a forum, or the ability to make a profile and get messages in response, sort of like a job board. One of the things I would look at is Buddy Boss theme. It's a new theme. It's called Buddy Boss theme. Now, Buddy Boss has other old things, but this is brand new, Buddy Boss theme, and it's super easy to use. I made a video on it. I've got a 4,000 word review on Buddy Boss theme. So if you went to my website and searched for Buddy Boss, you would see it right there. I go over it in details. It allows you to have a job board, but isn't that essentially what a dating thing is you post saying you're looking for somebody or something like that, and then there's an ability to message them. So you can turn that into a dating site. And in fact, over time, I'm sure they're going to probably add stuff like that to show you that you can use this amazing platform in different ways. I would go ahead and take a look at that. I think that's what you would need in a dating site, is the ability to post kind of like jobs. You're hiring someone to be your significant other or something like that. I don't know. Okay, let's see here. All right. Devin has a great question. Can you track the sales with each funnel and cart flows? We do have analytics inside of each flow. You'd go into it, click a button, you could see how many people took you up on the various offers. We are going to go and invest deeply into dashboards and analytics, but we're not there just yet, but we do have those analytics there. Let's see. Oh, this is great. I like differing opinions. cPanel does not have relations with performance. The server hardware instead, yes. Actually, I've done a lot of reading that cPanel does take up resources and on the server that could be used for the websites on that server. So it might be negligible. The benefit might be more to the hosting company. Okay, David I hope this isn't like an old question. So let's see here. Actually, it was 10 minutes, so hopefully you stuck around, David. What's your favorite Elementor add-on pack? So you probably already know the answer to that. But let me quantify it some, okay? Let me quantify it some. Okay, I'm going to open up my website right now. Okay, WPCrafter. I'm going to show you. I prefer ultimate add-ons for Elementor, or if I was using Beaver Builder, it would be that too. I use the features. It's because I use the features. So right here is, say, a post on how to make an online course website with LearnDash. So you go here, you notice how my video automatically started playing. It starts playing with mute, so I can click here and unmute it. When I start to scroll down, you notice it just moved to the bottom corner. Actually, people might not realize this. I think you can move it around, or maybe you can't. There we go. You can move this wherever you want. So if you wanted it right there, you can move it there. Anyways, it auto plays. It puts in this automatic subscriber bar. So I guess it's where it auto updates and shows dynamically the amount of subscribers you have, so you get that kind of social proof right there. I recently asked them for a feature. I wanted to be able to round the corners. I don't know if you've ever been to AppSumo and you see one of their sales pages with their video, and they've got the nice soft rounded corners. I wanted the rounded corners. They added that for me. This is just one example of a feature of that plugin that I use. And so what's nice, because this works with Elementor, is you get the dynamic content. So it's automatically doing all this stuff for me dynamically on this post right here. This is just one example of something I use out of that particular tool. And so one of the things that they're going to be adding hopefully soon is, when they're the only add-on pack currently that allows you to display Yelp reviews and Google My Business reviews. And when they add Facebook, I'm going to be happy, because I want to be able to display the Facebook reviews that I have dynamically on my homepage or a page on my website. So there's a lot of things that add-on package does and has that I personally use. They have a marketing button feature. They've just got a lot of great things, and they're more going towards, instead of having this big high volume of features. Actually, there's one more thing that they have that I think is really cool. Maybe not a lot of people know this is on my website. So if you go to underneath blog, there's a reviews and comparison. So I can click on reviews, and it allows me to show my posts in a grid with filters. So these are categories. So if you wanted to see Elementor add-ons, you click right here. It's going to refresh and show you all the Elementor add-ons that I have a review for right here, and it filters the list. I like that. It's just part of the plugin. It's just part of the package, and I really like that it has that available. So I'm just showing that they have the little features like this, that it's more of a real handcrafted type of add-on pack for Elementor. And if I can use Elementor or Elementor Pro's native stuff, I would choose that every time. But there's these little extra things that I actually want, that I get out of that. But so many of them are really good. Okay. This is great. Why did you change from Lifter LMS to LearnDash? I'm still in the middle of switching, by the way, but I switched because LearnDash is more modular. LearnDash has a better learner user interface, and every aspect of LearnDash's user interface is better and far superior to Lifter LMS, and there's nothing you could do really to Lifter LMS to get it to be at LearnDash's level. LearnDash invested multiple six figures into redoing pretty much LearnDash from the ground up. One of the things that is big for me is the lessons are modular. So with LearnDash, with Lifter LMS, if you wanted to say you have a lesson in one course and you want to also have that same lesson, it lets you duplicate it. So now you have the data in two separate lessons, and you have to update and maintain it in two separate locations. With LearnDash, it's truly modular. So they cracked the code, so I can take a lesson that is in one course and use that same exact lesson in a different course, and it will natively appear like it's part of both of those courses, but it's the same single lesson. It's pretty amazing stuff if you're going to have lots of courses, want to make mini courses or things like that. So when you add that all up, the user interface for the customer or the student, I made the switch for that. Okay, Cloudflare tutorial, I'll get on it. Let's see. Here's a great question from Chad again on cart flows. Can you modify the checkout to ask for the email after the purchase? Also, can you modify the checkout page to look like a sales page? Okay, so the second question is easy to answer. Yes, you can have that's called the one-page funnel, where it's a sales page and a checkout page all on one page. Absolutely. Now, what I don't understand though is the question about asking for the email after the purchase. You kind of need the email before the purchase in order to send the receipts and all that kind of stuff and to set up the account. I don't know why you would get the email after the purchase. You could also get the email before the checkout. We have some custom code that you can add to your website. So you can ask for the email on a landing page, then you can have that information auto-fill on the checkout page. That's pretty neat stuff. This is great from Jonathan at WP Tonic. How are you getting along with Link Whisper? Link Whisper, there's nothing like it. Get it. Just get it. Actually, I'm trying to arrange a discount for the viewers on the channel, and then I would come out with a review next week and have the discount. So actually hold off. Hold off on getting Link Whisper until I line up a discount. Totally, there's nothing like it. There's absolutely nothing like this for building internal links to your individual posts. It's not without its problems. It's brand new. There's a problem I've ran into, and I'm waiting to do a review on it until they fix this problem. And that is, it's not working if someone logging into your website is not an administrator. So if you have an editor or an author, they're not going to be able to use it. It just doesn't work. So once they make it so you can allow your editor to use it or your author to use it, then I'm going to be able to get a lot more use out of it, because I have different user roles and I want them to be able to use it on my website. So I reported that to them. They didn't know about it. I reported it just a few days ago. So hopefully they'll get that fixed in a few days. Let's see. All right, I'm going to wrap this up soon. Here's a great comment from Brian. Brian is saying, looks like Astra took a play from Brizzy and Customify customizers. Actually, no. I thought that you were asking something else. I was going to mention the Customify, a feature that they have that's really interesting. Okay, so actually I haven't seen, I don't see any similarities at all with Brizzy. I don't know if maybe some of their themes, I don't know. And I haven't seen the Customify customizer to see if they do the same thing, which is kind of consolidate all options in single panels like that. I'd have to check it out. One of the things I'm telling Astra they should build is a header customizer. It originally came out in the Flatsum theme, and then Customify got inspiration from the Flatsum theme, and then the Neve theme got inspiration from the Customify theme and did the same thing. And then there's a couple others that did the same thing. And I think it's going to just kind of be a standard thing that there should be this easy to use way of having your header be structured how you want it. So they haven't done it, and I'm encouraging them to do it. I think it's quite essential. All right, we got Germans in the house. I'm German, yes. Okay. Here's a question: Buddy Boss theme versus SiteGround for LearnDash. Buddy Boss is a theme. SiteGround is a host. I'm wondering if you're saying putting it on SiteGround. You can, and then if the performance doesn't end up being there as your course grows, just move to something more dedicated with SiteGround or with Cloudways. Ian, how are you getting on with SiteKit? I'm still using it. They had an update out the other day. I think it's great. I'd recommend it. Oh, yeah, here is Karen asking a question. I have Smush on a website. That's the image optimization plugin with a lot of images, and I want to switch to Short Pixel. Do I just deactivate and delete Smush and enable Short Pixel? Yes, you do. Okay, so here's the thing. Smush, the free version, sucks. I don't know why anyone would use the free version of WP Smush. It is worthless, completely and utterly worthless. It doesn't have the optimization settings that all the other ones have because it's blocked behind their paywall, and it's like, what, 30 or 40 bucks a month or whatever for their membership to get the plugin. Maybe it's 20 bucks a month for the plugin. I don't know. But they limit how big the image can be, which is fine, but then they don't give you the optimization options. So there's lossy, and then there's lossless, and then there's another one. You don't get any of those options with WP Smush. So even though you get rid of Smush and put in Short Pixel, it's going to have a lot of optimizations to do because Smush wasn't really doing it for you unless you had the paid Smush. So if any of you guys are using the free Smush, it's pointless and worthless. I would get rid of it. Okay. All right, I think we're coming to the end here. Someone's asking if CartFlows can add a date picker on the checkout. Great question. The answer is right now no, but we are going to be building additional field options like that, such as a date picker. Okay. Yeah, I understand. It would be good to have a date picker for sure. Okay, I'm at Westenheimer. That must be German. All right, I'm getting to the bottom here. That's a great question. What magazine theme do you recommend? I actually don't recommend any of them. I can say newspaper version 9 would probably get you there, but it has a very distinct style, and you might not like that distinct style. If it was me, I would just get Elementor Pro for $49 and maybe the free Astra theme or something like that, or one of the Elementor add-on packs, and you can do your own newspaper layouts, your own blog post layouts. You can have that be totally customized. But what's nice is you're not locked into a style. The minute you want to change styles, you have control over changing that. That's the only reason I prefer that way. But it is a little nicer to not have to screw around with any of that stuff. Just install a theme and just go with that particular style. Although I prefer the other way, which is using Elementor Pro, creating blog post templates. So if you look on my website right here, I'm going to pull something up. Actually here, let me show you. So I'm using Elementor Pro now on my website. I've been using it for a long time, but I've had some things locked into Beaver Builder. So let me show you a couple things with Elementor Pro. So with Elementor Pro, here's a blog post. It's all, the layout and the style of this is all done in Elementor, and it's global. I can change it whenever I want. So I made it so I've got my social icons here. I've got this. I got a little sidebar. This thing's sticking a little bit, and you can scroll down, and then you scroll all the way down, and I've got my comments here. Man, I'm not getting any comments, but this is just a blog post style for written content, and then I did this right here for videos. So I replaced the custom image with the video, and I've got full design control over this. And then it doesn't stop there. This is what a layout looks like for a review. So if I click on, say, let's look at Cloudways really quick. I should have looked at Buddy Boss actually. Let's look at Buddy Boss right here. This is another fully custom layout with Elementor. So I've got the logo dynamically pulls in all of this. Nice big bold button. These 3 boxes here to just give you a quick snapshot of what I'm talking about. I have a video that sticks. You can do custom stuff like this if you have Elementor Pro, or if you're on the Beaver side, you're using Beaver Themer. I prefer this. The minute I don't like this layout, I can go in and easily change this at any point. By the way, here is that lengthy Buddy Boss review that goes over all of the features, and you can scroll down. We got all the way down. We got tons of comments already on it. This is anyways, the point is I would just make my own. That's what I would do. I prefer making my own like this. Oh, and I didn't even show you, I also have comparisons. So I can go here, and this is also done with Elementor Pro, these layouts. So let me show you. Okay, Beaver Builder versus Elementor right here. So I got, it dynamically pulls in their logos. The buttons are right here. I have my little 2 cents. And then I'm pulling in the pros and the cons and the little notes here. I'm showing other comparisons for page builders here. And as you scroll down, here's all the comments. And then we got some sticky stuff here on the side. Anyways, this is super custom and it's super easy to do. But you can't do it when you just choose one of those off-the-shelf themes and you have this distinct style. You're kind of stuck with that. I know that was a long answer to a short question. Okay. All right. Here's a great question from Ashley, and I might not even be able to answer it well, but I'm going to go for it. Answer the hard questions. He's launching, I think Ashley Ball. Ashley's a name that could go both ways, but I think you're a guy. He's launching, and I could be wrong. I shouldn't even say that kind of, none of that stuff. Scratch it from the record, erase the blackboard. Okay, launching an online course or a web product. Where can you go to get pre-sales of users and buyers when you don't have a big audience? This is a great question. There's several things you can do, and I'll just start listing them out. Number one, you can get a bigger audience before you launch it. And the way you do that is you find out who the ideal person is that could be using this product. Where are those people? And who are the influencers there? And can you get them interested in your product by maybe giving them a free lifetime license or free access to something? Can you accomplish that? And that would get it on the radar of people. That's going to get you some social proof. That's going to get you some testimonials. That's how you're going to get people excited about it. And if these are vocal people, they're going to be, so example, a week ago I did this, another live like this, and Link Whisper had just come out and I started talking about it. They have their own audience for that, right? They do have their own list, but it's not like a widely known plugin. But I'm genuinely interested in it. He actually gave me a license to it. I would have paid for it, and actually I've paid for it for other businesses, but the initial license he gave me was free. He gave to me for free, and I was going to buy it. He offered to give it for free. I'd be an idiot for saying no. But I'm a target audience and I'm someone that's vocal, and I'm going to talk about something that I'm excited about and can help people, genuinely help people. And so that's one strategy. Another strategy is to have an affiliate program where you can, if your product is quality, and other people have audiences, and you do some kind of a rev share with them where you give them 30, 40, or 50%, they're going to be interested in working with you as long as it's solid and reliable and good product. You obviously can go to advertising. You can do some Facebook ads and stuff like that, but there's a lot of this work that you just have to put in order to build a larger audience or tap into other people's audiences by reaching out. So you'd be surprised at how just an email to someone that might have an audience will get their attention and they'll respond to you. I respond to people, not everybody. It's funny, people copy other people's themes verbatim, plugins verbatim, and then they email me and say, hey, I got this great new thing. You want to, take a look at it? And how can we get you help me promote this? And I look at it and I'm like, man, don't you know, like the people that make that are like friends, you know what I mean? I wouldn't, and you just copied it like exactly. Anyways, that happens all the time. Jonathan, WP Tonic, is there an easy way to transfer a course from Lifter LMS to LearnDash? No, there isn't. Unfortunately, there is not an easy way to move over. There is a way to take the lessons from Lifter LMS and have those and the courses and then move those over, but you're not going to be able to move over students, course progress, quiz questions, or anything like that. Sad, I know, it stinks. All right. We got let's see here. I think we're at the end here. Wayne, thanks for doing the live broadcast on Fridays. I appreciate you, Wayne. Wayne's a great guy. He's been around on the channel for 4 years. We've emailed many times. He's a great supporter. And Fridays is probably a good time. Fridays is probably a good time for this. Thanks for the support, Wayne. Okay, live here. We got Germany back in the house. I need to go to Germany. I was going to go to Japan in October, but I think my plan got canceled. Let's see here. Oh, this is great from Samuel. Great question. Can you do an update on directory listing solutions? Been a few years. Listing Pro versus My Listing versus etc. Okay, Samuel, I'm just going to shoot it all out. My Listing is the directory theme, in my opinion, to go with. Listing Pro led me on, and I reveal things maybe I shouldn't. They led me on for years saying I said in the early days, add Elementor. You got to add Elementor integration, fully integrated, get rid of Visual Composer, all of that. And they said, we're going to do it next update. And they must have been lying to me the whole time because they kept saying next update. We do version 2.0, it's going to be in there, and it wasn't there. And, I'm done with that. I am so done with those guys. I don't trust them one bit. My Listing was Elementor from day one. I think they were smart. I think they had a good vision with it, and they've continued to make it better. And they just recently added private messaging and all kinds of stuff like that. I should make a video updating those recommendations and a tutorial with My Listing, because My Listing is just a reliable solution that many people have used, and people that I respect their opinions. They might not be as loud and vocal or have big platforms, but they're all in on My Listing as well. And just seeing them and listening to them, I've seen that is a better solution. All right. Okay. Oh, here's a great one. Hello from Mexico. I've got some interesting stories about traveling in Mexico when I was in college. But what do I think about Divi? And you use Elementor, but you want to give Divi a try for some projects. Hey, I have a Divi license. I think Divi's fine. I think Divi's great. I'm waiting on Divi in a month or two. They're supposed to have Divi 4.0 come out, and it's going to have the theme building, the header builder, and all that kind of stuff. So I'm kind of waiting to see what that's like with Divi. There are some things that Divi does better than Elementor. They give you more options to leverage its features easier. A simple example is drop shadow. Say you have a box and you want a box shadow or whatever, that little shadow behind it, right? So with Elementor, you got, the typical settings. But in Divi, you open it up and they actually have these quick selectors. So if you want it to come down, if you want it to be spread out, you just click here, and you can see the different styles and boom, it's done. So some things like that, it's faster and easier to get it done quick with Divi. But I am an Elementor user. I love Elementor, but I like to try all these tools. Let's see. Here's a great question from Ruben. Wanted to know if I use Blog Vault and on my site, and if I'd recommend it. I use Updrafts. I've always used Updrafts. I think it's fine solution for me. Blog Vault is going to be better for its backup solutions. Blog Vault's going to be better, but I'm doing fine with Updrafts. So. And now even with SiteGround, that new SiteGround control panel where they're doing the backups for you, it's going to be compelling. There's going to be a lot of stuff that you're just not going to need anymore because they're going to do it for you. Here's a great question. What photo gallery theme do you recommend? I actually don't have any recommendations there. But if you asked in the WP Crafter Facebook group, I guarantee some people in there are going to have some great recommendations. Okay. All right. Silly tips. Cool YouTube name. Which host provider is the best as per your personal experience? This is actually very interesting. Darn it, I don't have it on this computer. There's a new plugin that came out yesterday for benchmarking hosts. So there hasn't been a tool to benchmark. When new computers come out and you get the YouTube reviewers or the computer companies themselves, and what do? They benchmark. They show the benchmarks, right? This is the CPU performance, the graphics performance, the memory performance, all this stuff. You don't have that with, there's no way of doing that really with web hosts. And now there's this plugin that allows you to do it, and I was testing it last night, and I'm like, oh my gosh, this is nuts, when I'm seeing these benchmarks. So right now, let's just say I'll recommend SiteGround for shared hosting. Their pricing is really good. And I personally use Cloudways. And so you might want to go with Cloudways if you don't mind getting your hands just a tiny bit more dirty, but the payoff's there with much greater performance and control. Okay, I'm going to have to wrap this up. It's getting way too long. The live stream's not getting long. I would stay here and answer these questions all day. Let me just do a quick thank you guys. See, you guys are answering the way that I would answer, recommending SiteGround and all that kind of stuff. So I'm going to just scroll through here. Yep, Chad saying Updrafts Plus is the likely answer. You guys know me. Yeah, and there's Ashley. I know you, Ashley. I recognize names and avatars, so I knew it was you. And I hope you didn't take any offended about. I hope you didn't take any offense to me saying what I said there. Let's see here. All right. Divi Elementor. We've hashed that out a million times. Bavaria in the house. Your SiteGround, okay. Someone's saying here your SiteGround account is not changed. I mentioned that earlier that they're not going to be migrating people over for a while. Like you're going to probably move hosting companies before you get migrated across. That's why I'm saying it's probably not going to happen. Okay. And Chitan asking about hosting for 25 websites. I would definitely go. I would definitely go with cPanel. I'm not with Cloudways, but you need cPanel. I don't know. Reseller hosting, maybe. All right. Oh, last question I'm going to answer. 2 questions here, and they're at the bottom. This is perfect. Or 3 questions. I'm going to answer them quick. Jonathan WP Tonic, what are my thoughts about Groundhog? Groundhog is a plugin that's free, but they have a $300 per year plan. It's email marketing, but it's all done in your WordPress site. Everything's stored in there. It's not really proven to me. They haven't even got any traction. I think they've been out for maybe 8 or 9 months, and there's only like 200 or 300 active installations. I don't know how long they're going to be able to hold out for and develop a plugin if no one's using it or buying it. So that's one of those ones that maybe it's a great idea. There's others that are actually doing something similar, but it's not getting any traction. Ultimately, you got to get traction for your project or your plugin, or your passion runs out for your passion project. Question, do I use any funnel mapping tools? I use Funnelytics. It's free. I think it's called Funnelytics. But the one you're suggesting is probably better than Funnelytics. Hey, Max in the house. Tutor LMS. It's a newer learning management system, and it has a ways to go. I've tested it, but it has a ways to go. It definitely does. And I do know they have a lifetime option available. I know, Mike. Mike's saying, where's the martini? I got to do that, but then I'd have to do a live stream during the week at a later hour. I didn't want to do a live stream on a Friday in the evening, but I will during the week. I need to go have a martini for sure. Byron's asking as well about Tutor LMS. I think it might be, they even say themselves they got a ways to go. I'm kind of a wait and see with Tutor LMS right now. Let's see here. Kyle, you didn't miss a thing. You can start from the beginning. Let's see here. Okay, that's the end here. Guys, I'm going to improve the production on here, get the questions on the screen and all that, kind of try to make this a whole lot more interactive. Thanks for coming on today. I didn't have many videos out this week. It's summer. It's like impossible to do anything with the kid at home, and you're staying up late, you're sleeping. It's just, schedule's a mess. But I'm working on getting through all that kind of stuff. Hey guys, thanks for watching this live stream. I'm going to fade to black. You can take your questions down to the WP Crafter Facebook group, and I'll be happy to answer them there. You guys have a great weekend. See you later.